Hi, everybody. We are continuing on with our angles today. So in the last lesson, we talked about complementary, supplementary, and vertical angles. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to learn about how to find missing angles within those types of diagrams using algebra. Okay, so the directions say to find the missing angles by first writing an equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what the relationship is between the angles that we see in the diagram, and that will help us write our equation. Okay, so if you look at the diagram in number 1, we can see that these two angles together are forming a right angle. And so we know that those two angles are considered to be complementary, which means when we add them together, we get 90 degrees. So our equation should show exactly that. We would add the two angles that are given to us, and we would show that they equal 90 degrees. And so all I need to do from here is solve for x, and that will help me find those angles. So to solve this equation, the first thing we should be doing is combining like terms to get 5x, and then dividing both sides by 5, which gives us that x is equal to 18. Okay, so I'm not done yet because if I go back and I find the missing angles, I have to figure out first what 3 times my answer is. So I just got 18, so I would do 3 times 18 for that angle and get that it's 54 degrees. And over here I would do 2 times 18 and get that that angle is 36 degrees. And I would always do a quick check and make sure that these two things do actually add up to 90 degrees, which they do. So that's good to know that we did that correctly. Okay, looking at number 2. So these two angles are forming a straight angle, which we know is 180 degrees. So this means that these two angles are supplementary. So when angles are supplementary, it means that we add them together and they equal 180 degrees. So our equation is going to show exactly that. And to solve this equation, we're also going to start by combining like terms. So x plus 5x is 6x. And from here, I'd have to subtract 60 from both sides. That gives me 6x is equal to 120, which I'll then divide by 6 to get x equals 20. Okay, so again, not done quite yet. I know that this smaller angle is going to be 20 degrees because it's just x, but this bigger angle is going to be 5 times 20 plus 60. So 5 times 20 is 100, and 100 plus 60 is 160. And then we should double check. 20 plus 160 is in fact 180, so we are good to go. Okay, next kind, number 3. If you remember here, when you have angles that are across from each other, that means that they are vertical, and it also means that they're congruent, they're equal. And so this is always the trickiest for students to remember because vertical angles don't add up to anything. Okay, the only thing we know about them is that they are the same. So when we write our equation, we should never be adding them together because I don't know what they add up to be. I should be showing that one of the angles equals its vertical angle. Okay, so it's tricky to remember, but just think, you don't know what they add up to be, okay? So that's why it stays what it is. Okay, sorry guys for the little break. My youngest daughter was looking for the crayons. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what I was saying, so let's go ahead and solve this. When you have an equation with variables on both sides, it's always good to try and move the smaller one. So I'm going to actually start by subtracting 3x. Remember, we can't combine them to get 9x because they're not on the same side of the equation. Okay, so when I do that, here's what I'm left with. Now we're down to a two-step equation. So we're going to add the 18. That gives me 39 equals 3x. Divide that by 3. and we get that x is equal to 13. Okay, so let's go back and plug this in. So 6 times 13 minus 18. So 6 times 13 is going to give me 78, and 78 minus 18 is going to give me 60. So that angle is 60 degrees. Now, we know that that other one should be 60 degrees, but let's plug in what we got just to make sure, just to verify that we actually do get 60. Because if we did something wrong, this will be where it gets caught. Okay, so 3 times 13 is 39, and 39 plus 21 is indeed 60 degrees. So we are good. We got it correct. Now, there's two other angles in this diagram that we have to fill in. So if you remember me talking about in the last lesson how these two angles right here are making a straight line, means they're supplementary. And there's actually 4 different supplementary relationships here. I'm just choosing that one. So I could figure out this missing one right here by subtracting 60 from 180. And that will give me that this angle is 120 degrees. And then if I know that's 120, its vertical angle is also 120. That was the one that we were talking about, how all 4 of them add up to 360. And so some people might choose to do 60 plus 60 is 120, subtract that from 360 and divide by 2. You could do that also, and you'll still get 120. Okay, so 4, 5, and 6 are very much like 1, 2, and 3. So if you want to pause the video here and try the 3 of those on your own, and then you can check back, press play and see if you got them right, you could do that, and I will start working through them now. Okay, so number 4, these are complementary angles, so I'm going to go ahead and add them together because I know that they add up to be 90 degrees. I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to add 10 to both sides, and I'm going to divide by 5. So I got that x is equal to 20. So in this angle here, this is 20 plus 2, so that angle is 22 degrees. And this is 4 times 20 minus 12, so 80 minus 12 would give me 68. Quick check, 68 plus 22 does equal 90. So now I'm good. All right, number 5, these two angles are making a straight angle, which is 180 degrees. So my equation should show that. 9 times x minus 4 plus the other angle should equal 180 degrees. Okay, so to solve this equation, the first thing we have to do is distribute. So if I distribute the 9, now I'm ready to combine like terms. So 10x, negative 36 plus 26 is a minus 10 equals 180. I need to add 10 to both sides. And then I need to divide by 10. And so I'm getting that x is equal to 19. Okay, so going back up here, I'm going to plug in 19 where I have an x. Now, when you guys go to evaluate that expression, a lot of you will do 9 times 19 minus 4 times 9. You'll distribute that 9. You can also just use order of operations. So if you do what's in the parentheses first, it's really just 9 times 15. Okay, so that's how you'll see me do it. I think it's a little bit simpler, but again, it does not matter. And then for the other one, 19 plus 26, that's going to give me 45. Okay, so quick check, 135 plus 45 is 180. So we're good on that. Okay, so number 6 here. Again, we have vertical angles. 7x minus 8 and 5x plus 28. They don't add together to be anything. They are equal. So your equation should show that they are equal. Okay, so minus 5x minus 5x. 2x minus 8 equals 28. Then I'm going to add the 8. divide by 2. Okay, so we should be getting that x is equal to 18. So down here, 5 times 18 plus 28. So 5 times 18 is 90, and 90 plus 28 is 118 degrees. And let's make sure the one across from it is also 118. 7 times 18 minus 8. Okay, so 7 times 18, oh my goodness, what is that? I'm not doing that correctly off the top of my head. Okay, 126, and 126 minus 8 is 118. Perfect. Okay, so to find the other two, remember the angles that are next to each other are considered supplementary in this type of picture. So I'm going to do 180 minus 118, which is 62 degrees. And if that one's 62, so is that one because they're vertical. All right, guys, so on the back of this paper, we have more complementary and more supplementary at the bottom. So if you feel like you need more practice, please go ahead and try those last 6 questions. What I'm going to do is I am going to just write the answers in for you guys. So if you want to stop the video here, pause it, try them, even if you try just, maybe the left side, whatever you think you need to practice with, and then start it up, and I will be filling in the answers. Okay, and if there's any questions on any of the ones on the back and you're not sure how I got my answers, just put a comment and I will make sure to explain it. Okay? All right, so if you're back, I'm just going to quickly fill these in so you guys can see how you did. And you know what? I'm also going to put what x equals because I think that will be helpful just in case you got x, but maybe you didn't get the angles right. Leave that there for a second. Okay. All right, everybody, that is all of them. So again, if you have any questions about any of those, you want me to work them out, send me an email, put a comment. I will be glad to add to the video or type out the equation that I used to get those answers. Okay, good job. See you in the next lesson.